Steve, I would imagine another decent week, everyone in good heart.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some bad news today, though. It was confirmed today that Luca Shoney he's tore his Achilles slightly, and that's unfortunately put a dampener on everything. You know, he broke down in the warm-up last week, and it's just been confirmed yesterday that he's got a tear in his Achilles, which will keep him out until at least February. So we await the specialists. There's one or two of the specialists looking at him and the best way forward for it, but he's certainly going to be missing for the next 8 to 10 weeks, I would have thought.
It's been every week basically. There's been one of these recently. It must feel like that anyway.
Well, it's tragically hard luck on Shoney. I mean, he's had a few problems with it before, and we thought we were over the situation. And that's the one thing, as I've said repeatedly in the Premier League, you know, you need your big players to stay fit, and unfortunately, as I said, it's part and parcel of football, but that's where you do need that little bit of luck. And sod's law, we've done that warm-up routine he's done he's done dozens of them, and to damage yourself in a warm-up is quite ridiculous really, but there you have it. There must have been a weakness there from before, and unfortunately, as I said, he's tore it a little bit, so it's put a bit of a dampener on everything, because he is a very, very good player.
Is that back playing by February or back training?
Well, I mean, you would hope by back playing, you would have hoped that, but of course it's been a little bit of an ongoing issue with Shoney. Whether it's all been related, we're not too quite sure. But certainly there's obviously a weakness there, so we'll do everything we can. It'll take forever how long, but we'll have to be patient and hope that we can see him in February sometime.
So again, you're having to adapt to survive, aren't you? As you have been.
Well, it is. That is something which you have to put up with, and it's a frustration for us all, because the one thing you need is your big and your best players. A club like ours, who's just got in there, you need your big players firing. Certainly Shoney in particular is one of the reasons why we're in the Premier League, for his performances last year, and it's a shame for him. But there you go, football. We have to deal without it. Thankfully, we've managed to cope with anything what's been thrown at it so far. Let's hope that can continue.
And again, it's ahead of another really difficult looking away game this one.
Well, I have to say Southampton have been a breath of fresh air when you look at the young players they've got. I've just seen today that 2 or 3 of their players are in the England squad for a club which is it's taken off in the last few years. It was only a few years ago that was in administration, but fair play to them all. They've done a wonderful job. Their academy keeps producing. As I said, they've got 1 or 2 exceptionally good young players, and they've mixed that with some really, really good players in the summer as well they've brought in. So that's why to get 19 points from 10 games is a wonderful achievement, and it's as hard a game as what we're going to have.
And if Hull have been a surprise in the sense in 10th, then they're an even bigger surprise, aren't they? Or are they?
I don't think they are. Well, I don't think we'd all expect them to be where they are, but I think we've all realised of what they've spent, and they've invested very, very wisely. And the emergence, this keep emergence of these young players, and in the past they've had to sell them to survive. You have to say all credit to them for producing these young players like they are. And of course, the new manager who'd been in the last 12 months, and the way they play, they're fantastic to watch, difficult to play against, all up and at them, all young and fresh-faced and ready to go. So they're a really, really good team.
Like goals against column is just 4, which is remarkable. Really.
Remarkable. It doesn't surprise me when you watch and study them, the way they get after the ball, the way they come after you and they close you down. They're very, very difficult to play against. So it'll be another big test for us. But as I said, keep saying week in and week out, we've done so well so far. But make no mistake, this will be another big test for us.
You mentioned there 3 players in the England squad. Did you have half a thought you might have a player or 2 in the England squad?
Well, I hope that happens towards the back end and they're not away, but it just shows you, there's always room. I think I mentioned it 2 weeks ago, Anders Townsend. Somebody said 6 months ago he would have played World Cup games back to back. I don't think that would be possible in many people's eyes. So it just shows you, you're playing the big league week in and week out. It's possible, and we've got 1 or 2 of them who have played very, very well. So you never know. It might just happen.
Huddleston was a name that many people maybe.
Well, I think Tom's been there before, so it's playing regularly. Could he force his way back into it? He certainly played very, very well enough to obviously be included. Whether he's going to be, there's a long way to go before the World Cup takes place. All Tom can do is just keep playing and plodding away, and you never know.
Just two extras. One, the FA, when you come back from the international break, there's going to be a change in what they can introduce retrospectively, isn't there? A couple of new additions to the list of those things that can be assessed retrospectively, incidents in the game. So there's a challenge, a second challenge, one challenge and a second follow-up to that, which will be a violent incident.
Right.
And also I think the second one is...
Glad you know. Because you've got me baffled here now, I have to tell you.
Also, if they've seen it, I think this is right, if they've seen the incident but haven't had the best view of the incident necessarily,
They can review it.
you can go back and review that as well.
Well, I think all the technology, if it helps, any bit of technology, and to be fair now, playing in the Barclays Premier League, you can't get away with anything. I think the players are aware of that, and nor should you be trying to. So any technology that comes in that can enhance the game and make the game better, then all well and good for me. The more the better, because, you know, if the referee's missed something or hasn't quite got it, and we've seen it play this week, haven't we? Been done by the FA, and rightly so. You know, if you do these silly challenges and stupid challenges, then you deserve to be punished.
And the easy one after that is, can Arsenal win the league? A lot of people say they couldn't, can they now?
Well, it's amazing. I mean, I was driving and I was chuckling to myself really, and I was driving about after the first game of the season when they lost heavily to Aston Villa, and there's people calling for Arsene Wenger's head, wasn't there? And, you know, the fella is, year in and year out, in my opinion, has done a remarkable job. And when you see them now, you know, they've obviously got a chance. They've obviously got a chance. On the day, they've just went over yesterday and turned over one of the big teams of Germany. Again, I would think the size of the squad is what really, really matters. You know, if one or two or three get injured, then of course it's always difficult for anybody. But certainly on the day, they're a match for any of the big teams. And for Arsene Wenger again, it must be quite refreshing, because how many times he's had to deal with over the last few years in particular, people questioning him, is just ridiculous in my mind because of the wonderful job he's done. I mean, 15 years, I think it is, in the top four is a remarkable achievement, especially when you see the other clubs of what they're spending and what they can't spend.
So yes.
A possibility. Got a chance. I've got a chance. Why not?
Thank you.
Steve, just following on from last week, I'm sure you'd like to move on, but were you disappointed that a fellow manager would do what he did and speak out against a couple of challenges that your players made? It was analysed to death, wasn't it? And maybe it's been talked about.
Well, there was nothing in. There was nothing. And listen, all managers try and deflect, and he's quite within his rights to try and defend his own players. We all try our best to defend our players, but I think it's been proved by many people. Certainly, as Shane met the incident with McShane, how he hasn't come off hurt, it's a clash that happens. And they had the referees panel on, and I agree with it. I have to say that Robbie Brady's is a yellow card. Now, some people could see it as a red, but I think it was Gus trying to just deflect away from the problems that he's got, and try and give me a little bit, which is understandable.
Very diplomatic. Just mentioning Paul McShane, we're going to be talking to him in a minute or two. Does he epitomise the type of player you've got around this building?
Well, all the credit must go to Paul, because he must have been scratching his head when I came in, because I'd let him come here from Sunderland. But I think that was, at the time, right for him. The supporters were on his back. It wasn't a comfortable time for him, and he needed a fresh challenge from Sunderland. He came down here and went on loan to various clubs, and I think he's got to a stage now, Paul, where he's matured a little bit, and we've just worked on trying to keep all this enthusiasm he's got under wraps, if you like. You know, he's got a wonderful enthusiasm for it. He's as tough as they come and wants to do well. And I think he's just enjoyed himself and made himself into a little bit of a cult hero here. You know, it's credible, because at one stage, you know, he was probably the villain here too. So all the credit must go to Paul. He's really knuckled down, and more importantly, he's grasped his chance when he got it. It was a long time waiting for it, but when he got it, I think he played something like 23, 24 times, and it was his goal that could have took us there to the Premier League. So I'm really delighted because he's a good lad and a really, really big enthusiast, and I'm delighted he trains as if it's his last day. So delighted that he's playing well.
I just wondered what that conversation was like the first time that you met again.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
He must have thought,
He asked me a few questions, put it that way. No. I mean, he was terrific, and I just said to him, listen, whatever's gone in the past is gone. Just knuckle down, wait for your chance, keep playing well, and that the rest will look after itself. When you do get your chance, be ready. And to be fair to him, since he's took his chance, he's never put a foot wrong, which I'm obviously delighted about.
Seems to me you're going to need every one of the Paul McShanes at Hull City.
Well, it's epitomised by Paul. There's a great spirit amongst them. There's a lot of mates, of course. We've got 4 Irish who always stick together with it. And I think you need that. You need that spirit, because there's going to be times when we're going to find it tough in this league. And we have had it tough. We've got a good start. And you need people of the character of Paul. And you need that running through your squad, really, to roll your sleeves up and say, come on, let's enjoy this, enjoy the challenge, and enjoy the challenge of being a Premier League footballer. And I think Paul, along with George Boyd, Quinney, Rossignol, Sagbo, I can go through the lot. They've all got the bit between their teeth and all having a go at it.
Brilliant, thanks.
One more, Steve, on the camera. You've said in the past about how special a player Shoney is, really. Do you have someone who can come in and do that job, or do you have to look at playing a little bit differently in that front area?
Well, certainly we've got people who can fill in the role. I think people understand. Anybody who's watched Hull City over the last 18 months, especially the first 6 months he's been here, will realise that I didn't say it lightly, that for me, Shoney was the best player in the Premier League, the Championship, until he got injured. And I don't say that lightly, so he will take some replacing, but we've got to find a way. We've got to find a way, whether that's by changing our system, changing what personnel is obvious, changing our system, which enables the team to still function as well as it would do. And let's be fair, we've been without Shoney since last Christmas. You know, he's played a few games this year, but I would think he's only played, 50-60% of them. So we'll have to adapt, simple as that, and get over the loss of Shoney.
Will Shaw's injury, have any kind of impact on the contract talks at the moment?
Well, there isn't any. There isn't any at the moment, because Shoney turned down my latest offer. So I think all contract talks at the minute it'll be hushed for a while, and he'd concentrate on getting him fit.
Yeah, so you imagine it would wait till February time when he...
Well, I don't think haven't even thought about contract. It's just devastated the news that he's got a tear in his Achilles.
How are you looking with the rest of the squad injury-wise? Anyone who will miss Saturday's game?
Chester's still not ready. That's about it, really. I think everybody else is chomping at the bit.
Could he be back for Palace after the break?
Who, Chester?
Yeah.
I would think that would be 50-50. He's out in the training ground, but he's got a nasty one. So we'll err on caution with that one, because it is a real hamstring. I mean, if he has strains, and he can be out 10 days, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. He's really give his a twang, so it'll be whatever it'll be.
You mentioned the 4 Irishmen in the squad. They'll be looking to impress a new international.
Well, of course, the new managers come in, and I want to wish them both, Roy and Martin, the best of luck. And certainly, I would have thought that would be getting a phone call to see how the 4 of them are doing. And they've been in the squad for the last couple of years now, so I hope that continues.
Yeah, what do you make of that as an appointment, those 2?
Those 2,
yeah.
Terrific. Why not? I'm sure Ireland's excited. Experienced manager in Martin, and of course, Roy, with everything he brings to the table, can bring a huge enthusiasm to the Irish support. Why not?